Greetings, this is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhymed once again with the voice of the people. Last night in Gordon, Georgia, there was a city council meeting with 150 to 200 people attending that particular meeting, dealing with the audit here in Gordon, Georgia, that has been requested since January of this year. After Mayor Mary Ann Whippaloo was elected mayor. And ever since she asked for that audit, she been catching heaven, trying to get this audit completed so that she could account for the taxpayers' money. Bill Basket of the auditing system, he is a professional and I would say renowned auditor. But as you will see, tomorrow, probably I will be putting up the footage of the particular comments from Attorney Boone, Bill Basket, Councilman Reese, Councilman, all the councilmen. You're going to see it, and you're going to see active citizens' participation. I wish I could get that up today, and I want to apologize to all of the Quitman 10+2 because you know that I was going to be in Quitman today, but I had to stick around in Gordon following last night's meeting because of something that needed to be put together, because I remain 100% sure that in the end, truth, right, and justice will win. When I put this video up tomorrow, I want you to watch former Attorney Joseph Boone's actions towards the auditor. I want you to watch the words coming from Councilman Terry Eady, Councilman Terry Reese, and I want you to watch the people in the audience as they could barely maintain a good level of composure. Then I want you to think about, under our form of government, how could it be that in a state with a history of unfairness concerning certain segments of people here in the state of Georgia, how the news media in the Middle District of Georgia, all the television stations could be absent from this meeting, and I'm sure they knew what was going to take place at this meeting. So you ask yourself, who is among the cliques and among the slicks, and who is it that don't want everyday common Gordon citizens in Wilkinson County and surrounding counties to know the truth about what is happening with all the legal charges brought up against a newly elected black mayor, Mayor Lou, in the same manner that the mayor of Meigs, Georgia, the mayor of Douglas, Georgia, the mayor of 8-9 other cities. And yet, when you look at this video that I'm gonna put up tomorrow, I want you to think about this. When you watch this and you see them talking about, let me stop saying that. When Councilman Terry Reese talk about $34,000 or $100,000 or $200,000 that are being questioned, and the people that voted Councilman Reese and Councilman Starwood, I think I got that right, into office, and Densley are fighting an audit. Who in the world would fight an audit when there has not been an audit since a rabbit was a turtle? Look, don't take my word for it. It was a long meeting last night. Everything may not have been done in a professional manner, but it was 100% unprofessional for the TV stations, the highly respected television stations out of Macon, Georgia, and surrounding cities and counties could not report on this high-profile meeting last night. Look, when they brought up all this stuff about the mayor, they stayed in the city. They kept interviewing people. They had one guy to come in and use a secret camera to record the mayor. Now, we're to the point now where we got to get to the bottom of this. And you're going to see the auditor ask some valid questions to Mr. Terry Eady. He asked him, what do you have in your head along the lines of why you can't cast a vote that will permit in long term the audit to continue? You're going to see all that. There's no need me dwelling on that. Now look, I'm sorry and I apologize again to one of the equipment 10 plus 2, Lula Smart, who go to court this morning at 9 o'clock. Lula, I know the state of Georgia have tried you once, and they tried you twice under Judge Lane and Judge Porter, and now for the third time you will be facing another Georgia judge. Another Georgia judge. And to add more soup in the pot, they have added Dr. Nancy Dennard. Dr. Nancy Dennard. Dr. Dennard's family is highly respected and been that way in Brooks County for many years, if not centuries. Yet, they brought them up on charges of mishandling absentee ballots. Some of them have more than 40 violations against them. And yet, the Postmaster General has not said nothing about the postal clerk that works in the Quitman Post Office, who also mishandled official mail, took information from the mail and gave it to a private investigator, and that investigator had been paid for or hired by the school superintendent. No. He was the attorney of the Brooks County Board of Education. That looks like a conflict of interest. Brad Shealy, along with District Attorney David Miller and the G.B.R, you don't hear much about what I'm talking about now on the TV stations. It's just like the newly elected black mayors in the state of Georgia. Governor Nathan Deal and others are fully aware of the problems that is happening in the state of Georgia. Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp, let me repeat, Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp are fully aware of what the Quitman 10 plus 2 has gone through. And yet, there is no large outcry, not even about the registrar in Brooks County who took absentee ballots home with her to process. Can you believe that? She took them from a government building to her own private home where she could have Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Green parties, or no party at all to assist her in destroying the ballots or processing the ballots properly. But that is not the location, I believe, that registrars in the state of Georgia or in California or in New Mexico or any other state in the United States should follow. But in the state of Georgia, it has become crystal clear that the Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, and Governor Nathan Deal, and Georgia Attorney General apparently don't see a problem with that because nobody has said anything about that. And so the Postmaster General haven't done nothing. The Secretary of State haven't said nothing about that. So here's the precedence that is now set. And this is why I wanted to be there instead of still here in Gordon, but I'm about to leave now. Do you not know that by the lack of action by the elected officials in the state of Georgia, they are sending a message that they have set a new precedent in 2010 to 2014 that any registrar can take absentee ballots to their home to process them, I guess, or to a pond or on their vacation when they go on vacation, or perhaps overseas, and process them there and then bring them back. That's the precedent, and that's the danger. That is the danger that we face by allowing the news media not to report the beef of the news under our form of government. Look, haven't finished yet. Look, the Postmaster General of Macon, Georgia, the Postmaster General in Washington, D.C., are sending a clear, crystal message that a postal clerk can take official mail information from a letter and give it to anybody that they want to without the person that wrote the letter's permission. That's what they're saying. So this is the new precedent. I've been saying it to you all. You all call me an outside agitator. Well, when Jesus rode into Jerusalem, Jesus could have rode on a zebra. Jesus could have rode on a horse, thoroughbred. Jesus could have rode on the back of a dog, but Jesus chose to ride on the back ass of a donkey. Some people call him an ass. And you know that the donkey make a hellacious noise. But Jesus knew what his daddy had said, that truth is a very important element. And the founding fathers of our great republic, they knew the power of truth. And so they set up a government that they thought and they believed, some of them died for, so we would be able to carry on a free press that would not be pressed down and controlled by a certain clique and those among the slicks, and so would keep the rest of us deaf, dumb, and blind to the times and unable to make intelligent decisions based on facts. Haven't finished yet. I'm still in garden, but I'm on my way to the Quitman 10+2 in Quitman. But look, do you not know that God allowed me to see in Valdosta, Georgia, in Valdosta City Hall on the second floor, a disgraceful 1860 charter that was displayed outside of the Honorable Judge Edwards' courtroom. And here's what it said. It read that the mayor and council shall pass all proper and necessary laws and ordinances for the control of slaves and free persons of color, and to control, suppress, and abate all dogs, horses, and other livestock. Now that was directed to the slaves and the free black man, woman, and their children in the United States of America. And when I saw that, I had retired from the United States Armed Forces. And so I went to the mayor and I asked the council, will y'all please take that down? Because we have black men serving in Iraq and they will be hurt to come back to Valdosta, Georgia and see that disgraceful plaque displayed on the wall outside of Judge Edwards' courtroom, where black, white, German, Japanese, and all other people come in the hope of receiving justice under our form of government in the United States of America. And do you not know that some of the white council members in Valdosta, and I got a record of all of them, voted against taking it down? They thought it was just perfect for the conditions of Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia. They thought it was perfect. But thank God, I told them when I first stood before them that God, the God of my ancestors, would make sure that that plaque would come down. I said to them, if you all don't take it down, God is going to send other people that own council that will respect the American people and our form of government and those that suffered, bled, and died for this nation on foreign battlefields, fighting for the rights of others, while our rights are going down the tube like an F-4 aircraft. And so now, we must ask the question, will we keep backing up? And will the people stop addressing their public officials because they say they don't care about us? They don't even see us. They don't hear us. They don't feel our pain. It is as if though we are in Iraq, Iran, Pakistan, or some other third world communist nation. But I will assure you, just like what is happening here in Gordon with the first black mayor and all these other new elected black mayors, which I have painted a picture so clear, I have painted a picture so clear that even a fool can't miss it. But nobody seemed to care about the American citizen. We are concerned about Pakistan, Iraq, Afghanistan, but we won't take a stand in this nation. We go to church, we go to mosques, we go to synagogues and other temples, and we bow down and we cry out to Jesus, oh Jesus, oh Muhammad, oh Allah, oh El Shaddai, oh Jah. But when it comes down to these black women in these southern towns, not even the civil rights organizations will step up to the plate. And even more sickening, I will say again, is that to have a meeting this high on the level of a profile and the news media don't even show up. But look, that's nothing new. Do you not know the Equipment 10+2? They haven't received the right balanced news media coverage. And I don't have to tell you that because you already know it. You know that the G.B.R. walked the streets in Quitman, intimidated people. This came out in the trial, the both mistrials of Lula Smart. But the news media didn't report none of this. They didn't report to you how an 84-year-old woman said because of what the Georgia Bureau of Investigation put on her, she would never, never, ever vote again. She lives in Marvin, Georgia. It's time now for us to start calling names. We had public meetings in Brooks County. They called me over in Brooks County, just like they called me on these other incidents. That's why I went to Brooks County. They was having a public meeting at the Board of Elections. And do you not know, they didn't have a secretary to record the minutes of a public meeting in the state of Georgia, although we have a red book called the Sunshine and Open Records Law. So Dr. Nancy Denter, one of the Equipment 10+2, asked the leaders of the Brooks County Board of Education, why there's no secretary? Why haven't you approved the agenda? Why haven't you approved the minutes? Why is there no seconds and motions on the actions you are taking? Along with a lot of other questions that are basic violations of Robert's Rules and Order, not to mention just common sense. But look, the last night here in Gordon, a Gordon police officer, I got his name right here, but I'm not gonna call his name because it's not about the name, it's about the man, okay? And he said to me, you always choose the negatives. That's what you do. I watch all of your videos and you watch all, you only speak on the negatives. Everything that I've said in this video, if anybody can disapprove what I'm saying based on facts, then guess what? You need to call me and we need to talk. I'd like to get you in front of the camera and let you prove me wrong. You can't do it about the mayors and how they have been ignored, because I will take you to the mayors and CNN or Victor Blackwell or Al Sharpton of MSNBC. If you call me, I will take you to these cities and I will let you talk to these people. Now, some of them are gonna have to do it in the bathroom because they're scared as hell. Some of them may have to go in their basement in the bathroom to tell you what they tell me because they trust me. There are white right people who know what is going on. They are fed up with it. They are tired of it, but they won't say nothing about it publicly. But behind closed doors, they tell me and they tell others. There are black lawyers in the law profession. They know the crookedness of judges. They know what they have to go through, but they won't say nothing. But thank God for Al Sharpton a few weeks ago when he unveiled the facts that many police officers are Klan members, that's the KKK, are members of the KKK. And Al Sharpton had it on MSNBC, where some of those people said they got judges, they got professional people, all members of this prestigious organization. And so now, we had better wake up to the realities of now. I warn all Americans, today, it may be the black man, but tomorrow, it will be your children and coming generations. They'll have news stories to tell, and the news media won't even show up. They won't show up for you white folk. Then you white folk gonna start understanding what the black man, woman, and their children have been going through. You see, you gotta understand that this white European man called Apostle Paul in the volume of Sacred Law says we fight not against black and white and Japanese, but against powers and principalities of power and spiritual wickedness in high places. And so when you see people fighting an audit based on something other than what intelligent people understand, you better start asking some questions. And if we sit back and don't stand up for what is right, then we deserve what we get. Now, as I started out by saying, I'm supposed to be in the Brooks County courtroom, and I want to apologize to Nancy Dennett, Diane Thomas, and Lula Smart, all of you all, and the community, because you all know I'm supposed to have been there. But because of the urgency of what is happening in the state of Georgia with the black mayors, the newly elected black mayors. Now, you've heard me call some names out, but there are other mayors in other cities that somebody called out on my videos. I didn't know about them. But pretty soon, Jesus' word will be made real. And I know a lot of you all say Dr. King was a man of nonviolence. He might have been a man of nonviolence, but it's one thing he did know. He knew how to go into a city and protest through nonviolence to make other people become violent, you see. And so what he did, he spoke the truth. Jesus rode into Jerusalem. I don't see what he was talking about Jerusalem until Jesus rode in. And when Jesus rode in, then they started calling him an outsider, an outside agitator. But in your washing machine, they got something equivalent to an agitator that gets your clothes clean. And so, I want you to know I talk like this because I love my own children, and I love your children. And I know that if our sons and daughters can join the United States Armed Forces and go fight for the foreign nations of the world, then we should be able to stand in our country and throw our hands up and say, I love my children. Tell the world that I do not love Afghanistan children more than I do my own American children, whether they be black, white, purple, or green. We are all precious in God's sight. Now, you know Eric Holder are fully aware of what the black mayors are going through. Georgia Attorney General is fully aware. Governor Nathan Deal is very aware. Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp ignored a public meeting there in Brooks County, sent his own investigators down, and then after they gave statements, I personally gave him 2 videos, and we haven't heard nothing from him. Y'all can sit back and think that it's just a black or white thing, but when you find out the depth of what they are doing to us, all of you all are gonna hate the monster that you've created. You're gonna hate that you never said nothing. You're gonna hate that you called me all these names that you called me. And yet I served this country in time of war And yet, they'll tell me, we sure appreciate your service. The hell you do. When veterans hear people tell you should tell them, the hell you do. If you can't stand up for your fellow Americans, you didn't love this country, and you sure ain't a patriot. Them words is like water in the desert that don't exist. You look at it, you can taste it, but when you dip your cup, you come up with dust every time. Once again, I'm George Boston Rhymes. I'm doing what I do because I love you, and love makes you feel your neighbor's pain. And if you cannot feel your neighbor's pain, then you need to question which pain are you in. Just remember, the people of Gordon and the state of Georgia, we are not who we claim to be. Let me repeat. We are not who we claim to be, but who we prove ourselves to be over a given period of time. And when truth comes into the minds of those that seek truth, then all falsehood must vanish. And falsehood is forever a vanishing thing. Galatians 6 and 7, I believe it is, say for God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man sow, that shall he also reap. And so Jesus rode into Jerusalem on the back of an ass, and they treated Jesus as an ass. They criticized him, and eventually they took him to the cross of Calvary. But in the end, Jesus won. And all those who walk outside of the church, I'm not talking about those in the church, but those who walk outside of the church and ride on the back end of an ass, they will win in the end because it is ordained of the God of the universe, and more particular, the real God, the true God of our ancestors. Once again, isn't it beautiful that you can sit back and wait until tomorrow when I post this video about the auditor, Bill Bassey, and you're going to see Attorney Boone address the mayor, and you won't see if the mayor get respect or disrespect. And this is a long, drawn-out process. It all have been recorded because you have a right to know. I'm George Boston Rhymes, and I will assure you one thing. Just because the TV stations refuse to flip the switch on, it doesn't mean that truth was not in the house. Truth was in the house last night, y'all. And I want to share it with you. The TV stations can't show you because they wasn't there. I don't believe they really cared. I was there because I cared. I drove all the way from Valdosta. I don't get paid for it. I guess I'm a fool, huh? I don't mind being a fool. But what's more sickening and disgraceful is to be a fool that's spelled F-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-L. But I will never turn my back on our form of government. I will always stand up on behalf of the people because it was the people that stood up for me when I didn't know what the fight was all about. Have a nice day, and may God bless you, and may peace be upon you. In a few hours, you will hear what took place as far as the audit. That's why I'm putting that up first. Then I will show you, as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. Peace, my beautiful brothers and sisters. I love all of you. If you're a Christian, I love you. If you're a Muslim, I love you. If you're a Jew, I love you. If you're a Hindu, I love you. If you're from India and studied the Gita, I love you too. And if you're an atheist, guess what? I love you too. Yeah, I love you all. And I know that you all can feel my love because truth is something that we cannot hide. When truth is in the house, just remember, everybody recognize truth because that's where truth operates. Peace.